All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my Twitch channel here. I'm gonna see if I can show you guys a little bit of the Eberron book that was sent to me by Wizards of the Coast for review purposes. Uh, I don't stream a lot. This is probably my first real stream that I do reviewing books or looking at products or whatever. So bear with me. I may have some technical issues here. Maybe not. Hopefully not. But bear with me if I do. So real quick, the Eberron book is a 320-page book set obviously in the world of Eberron. It comes out on November 19th. I was flipping through it a little bit, not a lot. I went to the back really to see if it had a poster map. It includes a poster map of the world. So if you're a fan of Corvair and Eberron, you will get a poster map of that world with this book. That said, I should give you a caveat here. I don't know anything about Eberron. I've never played Eberron. I never owned any Eberron products. I never bought Eberron for 4E. I haven't bought the 5E one. Like, Eberron isn't my thing. So I'm going into this fresh as I can be. Another thing I want to say is that I'm not going to go page by page looking at the entire book. I'm going to do these video reviews or these video streams in the spirit of how I do my Twitter flip throughs, which is I'm going to capture what I think is cool. I'm going to take, I'm going to show you a little bit. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I'm not here to spoil books. I'm not here to spoil stat blocks and that sort of thing. I don't do that on the Twitter flip throughs I do, and I'm not going to do that on streams either. So that said, let's take a look at the book. They sent me both. They sent me the regular cover version, and they sent me the special edition version. I'm going to be looking at the regular version of the book. There really is no difference inside as far as content is concerned. There's never been a difference. In the other books, I don't think there would be a difference here. So let's take a look. Let me go to the... All right, so here we go. So here's the book. Eberron Rising from the Last War. You could see, I don't know if you remember, there was a little bit of confusion with the cover. This is the cover of the book. There you have a Warforged and what I assume is a halfling, yeah, some kind of halfling. It's a cool cover. And then in the back you have Banish the Shadows of War. You have a dinosaur or some sort of velociraptor. Airships, train cars. I know a little bit about Eberron. I know that it includes some sort of technology, that there's like trains and whatnot, and it's like skyscrapers and that sort of thing. So yeah, Eberron, new campaign setting for 5e, releasing this month. So let's take a look. I'm opening the book along with you for the first time, really. Warforged. All right, so I'm not gonna spoil the... Oh, let's look at the cover. On the cover, a Warforged wizard and a halfling and a dinosaur companion. All right, cool. So I guess dinosaurs are good. There is a disclaimer here that I'm not gonna spoil. Those are always fun to discover on your own. And the table of contents I will spoil because... Oops. I tend to show these sometimes on my Twitter flip throughs. There's all the races. Kalashtar. Shifters. So there are new races here. Goblinoids. You could play Goblinoids. The Dragon Marks. I don't know what that is. The new class. The Artificer class. I call it Artificer. I don't know if it's Artificer, Artificer. I don't know. I call it Artificer, and if I'm wrong, well, then I'm wrong. There's that. Group patrons. Okay, that's kind of cool. And that could probably exist somewhere outside of Eberron. Corvair Gazetteer, I guess that's the world information. The Sharn, the city. Building Eberron Adventures. Okay, that's a neat chapter for DMs. Treasures, friends and foes, and whatnot. Alright, cool. So there's the table of contents. Let me see if I can fix the angle here a little bit. What I'm doing. Welcome to Eberron. Here's a look at the world's 7 things to know. I guess that's a good thing if you're not familiar with Eberron. It gives you like 7 important things to know about Eberron. That's kind of cool. Number 7 would be D&D with a twist. You know what? Give me a second here. I have a book holder here that I'm going to use. See if this works out better for me. Yeah, here we go. So I have a book holder here I'm gonna use. So history of Eberron. The 7 things you should know about Eberron. The last war has ended. Dragon Mark dynasties. Lands of intrigue. Continent of adventure. World of magic. New races. D&D with a twist. And a history of Eberron. All right. Exotic languages of Eberron. Celestials. And again, I go to things that catch my eye as I do these flip throughs. Here's a calendar of the world. I'm not going to go through everything on the page. Here's some neat artwork. Noir intrigue. So the world is a noir world. I mean, when I said I don't know anything about Eberron, you know, I do know some things. Like I know it's like pulpy and noir. I've never really played in it. It's not something I've looked for. Everyone has regrets, so there's a regret chart. There's a debt chart. That's kind of cool. Magical world. And there you go. There's a warforged on an airship with they're called lightning rails, right? So I guess a lightning rail. That gives you a pretty good look at the world, right? There's a warforged creature, a flying airship, and a lightning rail train. That kind of captures what Eberron is about. I don't know anything about what the last war is, but it looks like a war. There you go. And it gives you history on the war. Draconic prophecies. There's some cool artwork here with dinosaurs flying around on dinosaurs. That's kind of neat. And then here we go. Here we go with the character creation. Oh, here's that cover that they had put out originally. It turned into a image in the book for character creation. Very cool. And then the races. You have changelings, goblinoids, and a few other things. Kalashtar's, I don't know what that is. Orcs, shifters, and warforged. There you go. Look at that guy. He's dapper. That's interesting. All right, cool. Well, yeah, this is very different from regular D&D I see, or regular fantasy. Interesting. I mean, that's a dwarf in a suit. Elves, wood elves, gnomes. Let's see. There's some goblins, goblinoids. Halflings, half-elves. Interesting. It's another cool piece of art. Halfling quirks. That's kind of neat. I like that. Orcs and half-orcs. Shifters. Tieflings. There's a nice image of a warforged. Dragon marks. So I know dragon marks are a big thing in Eberron. I don't know exactly what it is they are, but here we go. We have dragon marks in their houses. And then you have images of dragon marks. A whole page. It's a whole page of images of dragon marks. There's 12 dragon marks. And I guess they go through each of the marks and what they are. Oh, my camera took my camera froze. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can get this back to where it needs to go. Give me a sec here. The camera froze. Trying to get it. Trying to get it reconnected. Come on, man. Connect. Sorry about this. Technical difficulties. There we go. So they go through all the 12 dragon marks and explain what they are. And again, on a flip through like this, I'm not going to go too in depth on the dragon marks. Like, I really have no idea what they are, how they work. But there's 12 of them, and let me see. So they give you, so this one gives you spells. A halfling with the mark, let's go through one. A halfling with the mark of healing can save a life with a touch, restoring vitality and the will to live. That's some sort of healer. Oh, I see. So they give you ability score increases, and they give you... Are they like backgrounds? Is that what these things are? I gotta read up on these things. Are dragon marks still implemented as sub-races? Jimmy Fett is asking. I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, they're like sub-races, because there's a variant half-elf, for example. And here's a variant half-orc or human. So yes, they're still implemented as some... They're tied to race. Absolutely, they are. Yeah. Yes, they are. And then here's backgrounds for Eberron. So like, for example, the house agent background. That's kind of cool. And how many backgrounds do we get? We got one. Oh, we got one background. One exclusive background. House agent. And then here's the Artificer class. The Artificer class is obviously an Eberron thing. They give you a sidebar on Artificers in other worlds. They call out the Forgotten Realms. They call out Greyhawk. They call out Mystera. Ravnica. And even Kryn. So they hit all the bases there with this. Later on, I'll do an in-depth look at the Artificer in my flip through. Maybe I'll give you in the Twitter flip through. I'll give you some more stuff. But yeah, there's a whole new class here for Eberron. Group patrons, that's a thing here. And basically your patron gives your group assignments and whatnot. I guess it assumes your party has already met. They already work together. And they send you on assignments. They give you benefits and favors. And then here's there's a chart with different patrons in Eberron. Interesting. I can't wait to dig into that, because you could probably use that outside of Eberron somewhere else. I love these sidebars that they look like they're almost like pulpy, like newsletters. That's really cool. Like they look like newspapers or newsletters. That's interesting. Maybe one day I'll dig into Eberron, but right now I'm still playing the Forgotten Realms. Blood Addicts Dragon Drug. Interesting. Houses. So you have houses and you can go on house missions. This is neat. There's a lot of things here I think you could lift from Eberron if you wanted to apply it to other worlds. And do so. Newspaper. Your group comprises a team of ace reporters working for a chronicle. Interesting. Yeah, these are all patrons, by the way. We're still in the character creation chapter. And now we got to chapter 2, the Corvair Gazetteer. And here's where you get information about the world. Here's a piece of art. A Lyrindar airship ventures towards the dead gray mist of the Mornland. There you go. That's neat. So let's take a look at a sample here. So Nations of Corvair. Ondair. Gives you the capital, gives you the hallmarks, tells you a little bit interesting things about Ondair. So that's neat because if I don't know anything about Ondair, at least I got a bullet points here with a few interesting things. So that's good. Tells you about characters from Ondair, Ondarian characters. Oh, here's a map. The book does include a poster map, by the way. Back here. There you see it? The book does have a pretty big poster map. So if you're into poster maps, congratulations, you have a poster map in the book. So cities and sites. Aftermath of the last war. I wonder if that's something that's part of every land, like how the land fared after the last war. We'll see in the next one. And then you have some newspaper clippings that I guess add some in-universe stuff to it. So let's take a look at the next one to see. Breland has the same things. Interesting things about Breland. Brelish characters. Cities and sites. And aftermath of the last war. So yeah. So it gives you interesting things about the cities and how they fared after the last war, which is kind of cool. I'm just going to flip through this stuff. Ooh, look at that. That's neat. Again, the art continues to impress. 5e art is so nice. And this book is no different. Distant lands. There's some more maps. Faiths of Corvair. Here you get into the gods. And there's some charts here. With deities and whatnot. Rejection of faith. God symbols. And then a whole chapter on Sharn, the City of Towers. I guess that's the main city in Eberron. And this is Guide to the City. Falling in Sharn. You don't want to do that. Like falling off the Empire State Building. Oh, there goes my camera. Let's go, camera. Sorry about that. Let me get this connected again. I'm not sure why it disconnects. Like, there we go. Is it out of focus? All right. Here's a map of Sharn. That's kind of cool. Gives you what the goes all the way down. It's a whole page of an image of the city and the map. Some more newspaper clippings. I love these newspaper clippings. I love that whole in-universe stuff. And then it goes into different areas, for example, like things to do in Central Plateau, and it tells you, you know, what the characters can do while they're there. It's interesting. So if you're a DM who's never played here, at least you have a good information about what's interesting about each section and what you can do and what the players can do and that sort of thing. And this chapter is really just a whole, it's basically a gazetteer of the city. Very similar to what Wizards has done with other gazetteers of other cities. Nothing new here. Chapter 4, Building Eberron Adventures. This is neat. This is the one that I'll be probably taking stuff from the most. Adventure themes. How to write villains. How to improve villains. This stuff seems like it's, regardless of whether or not you play in Eberron, this stuff looks like it's probably a gold mine of information here. Who doesn't want good villains and great villains in your games? And if this book is teaching you how to write villains, regardless of whether they're for Eberron or not, I think there's a lot you could probably take from this. Again, I haven't read through it, but just on the surface alone, I could see that this is probably interesting, really good stuff. So they're telling you, I guess, it's major themes of the world and how to build adventures around them. Again, since I'm not too knowledgeable with this stuff, I really want to know. I got to really take a good deep dive at this book and see. Oh, maps. Here we go. We're back to the simple style that we've been getting before. This is Dyson Logos, and he's credited there in the margin. So this Dyson Logos is back for Eberron. I don't know if that's breaking news, but there you go. Dyson Logos maps back for Eberron. So there's adventure hooks here for different parts of the world and different. And then here's a section on the actual last war, which I guess it's the big thing about the world. Teaches you how to play during the last war. If you want to play during the war, my thing's out of focus a little bit. I'm sorry about that. Apologize for that. Playing during the last war. Well, that's a nice map. A little bit of color there in that Dyson Logos map. For those of you who complain about black or white, now you got red. Now, there you go. Stop complaining. I know people either love or hate those maps. I happen to love those maps. I think they're very easy to transfer to the table. You print them out, and they're so easy to draw out. And to me, they can get away from the fancy color maps all they want. I love these style maps, and I love the ease of play with them. So, but I know that there's a huge divide in the community about these maps. I'm actually on the pro Dyson Logos map. I'm a fan all the way. The planes of existence. How do the planes work in Eberron? Well, there's a whole section about it. I don't know any of these names on these planes, and I'm not going to get into it now, but beyond the astral plane, I don't know anything about the cosmology. There's the ethereal, the plane of shadow, astral plane, and then you have a bunch of other things that I just don't know what they are. Travel. Is that travel on the planes? Is that what that is? Eberron and the multiverse. There you go. If you're playing in another world somewhere and you want to move to Eberron, I guess that can help you out. Again, keep in mind these flip-throughs aren't full-on reviews and a look at every single page in the book. I gravitate to whatever captures my eye here. Oh, this is cool, map of the lightning rails. Again, Dyson logos, lightning rail train carriages map. And a chart with mysterious passengers on the train. This is people you could meet. I'm sorry about the focus. There's people you could meet on the train. Adventures in Sharn. See what I could do about the focus here. Give me a second. All right. Hopefully I fix that. So a whole section on adventuring in Sharn. Events in Sharn. And if you're familiar with the books, if you're familiar with the books that have been put out recently, like the Waterdeep book and the Baldur's Gate book, there's really nothing new here in these sections. You basically get a whole bunch of charts that you could roll on to generate interesting encounters and random things that can happen in the city. Here's a gangs in Sharn sidebar chart that you can play with. Narcotics in Sharn. So, oh, look at that. That's kind of cool. Are there dinosaurs walking around the city? Is that what this is? That's a raptor. Are these raptors walking around the city? Interesting. There's quite a few maps here, huh? Dyson did a lot of work here in this book. There's a lot of maps, which is interesting. Houses in the city. I guess it's going through different areas, and for each area, it gives you like adventure hooks. So like House Tarkanan adventure hooks, and there's a chart you could roll on there to generate some adventures. Oh, I see. Halflings ride raptors into plains. Got it. Interesting. Cool. All right. And then here is an adventure. Forgotten Relics. Forgotten Relics is a short adventure for a party of 4 to 6 first level characters who advance to second level by the adventure's conclusion. It's set in Sharn and serves as an introduction to the city. Okay, so there is an adventure in the book. So you get a world guide, a city, a Sharn gazetteer, an adventure, a new character class, character creation rules for new races, an adventure, and a poster map. That's a whole lot of content in this book. I imagine in the back of the book we have some magical items, which is this stuff here, treasures. And I expect to see some monsters unique to Eberron. Here they are. Monsters. Dinosaurs. And well, that's a good amount of monsters. Lord of Blades, he must be one of the iconic, I was going to say before my camera crept out. Lord of Blades is a warforged warlord. I guess he's one of the Eberron NPCs, iconic NPCs. Come on, camera. Why do you keep dying on me? How's the spread? Mostly lore? There is a lot of lore. Yes, I would say it's mostly lore. I would say a big bulk of the book is the overview of the world and the overview of Sharn. It's a whole lot of lore. My camera's still... I'm using my phone. There we go. So as I was saying, it looks like the Lord of Blades is a big NPC in Eberron. I must sound like a fool for not knowing any of this stuff, but I never played in Eberron. He's a challenge rating 18 creature. So, there you go. And then you have your monsters in the back. It's laid out like a standard 5e book. Nothing new here. And then you get to the poster map in the back. And that's it. You have 320 pages of content, of Eberron content. We could take a look at the table of contents here and see what the spread is. So character creation takes you from page 17 to page 98. That's a whole bunch of character creation. It's 70-something pages of character creation. The gazetteer of the world, Corvair, takes you from page 103 to 149, with Sharn taking you from 151 to 180. So if you combine those two, you have about 80 pages of world gazetteer, the world information. And then the building adventures takes you from page 183 to 260. The treasures is short, and the friends and foes at the end is from 283 to 320. So there's a good amount of information here. I think it's a fairly evenly split. The character creation stuff is kind of long, but again, if you take into account that you got things like dragon marks, a new class, this group patrons thing that they've introduced here, and some of the new races, it's a good amount of information. If you have any specific questions you want to ask me in the chat, I'll take a few minutes to answer those. I'm going to try not to spoil too much stuff, only because I don't, that's not in the spirit of these things. But if you have any questions that you want me to answer specifically, I'll try to do so. Otherwise, I'm going to cut the stream. I can't tell you what the difference is between this book and the PDF they put out in DM's Guild. That I wouldn't know. In case that's a question that you wanted to ask me. And I don't know if the 3.5 books are still applicable. I don't know. I haven't dug into it that deep either. So, but yeah, it's a nice book. Let me show you the cover for the. Okay, that's a good question. Evil John is asking about the Eberron special cover. So here it is. And I could tell you that yes, it looks better than Saltmarsh, without a doubt. It does look better than Saltmarsh. It's nice and visible, which Saltmarsh suffered from. A little, is it glossy? Yeah, it's a little glossy, but it's very nice. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful cover, gotta say. I have no complaints about it. Very nice. And it really captures a good image for me who's new to the world, what the world is about. I see it's, a big city, airships. It's a good snapshot of what I picture the world to be. The back of the cover is special as well. The image continues. There's a Warforged back there. It doesn't give you any information about what's inside the book, unlike the regular edition cover, which gives you a dinosaur and some background information. But yes, the coding and the cover are absolutely better than anything Saltmarsh from the Saltmarsh cover. Yes. WotC is really the art that the money these people are investing in art is evident. It's great. Now let me see something, because I had seen this does interest me. Someone had mentioned Wayne Reynolds, and I think Wayne Reynolds, he may have done the artwork. Let me see. I know he's an iconic Eberron artist. That's why I bring him up. Let's look at the credits here. Cover illustrators. No. Wesley Burt and Vance Kelly. Is there a Wayne Reynolds at all? Is Wayne Reynolds involved in it? He's in the interior illustrations credits. I don't know if you can see it there, but he's there. Interior cartographers, Dyson Logos, and Lee Moyer. So Lee Moyer and Dyson Logos both contributed. I thought it was all Dyson Logos. It's not, and they're both credited there. And Lee Moyer did the poster map for the book. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of taste of the disclaimer, but I'm not gonna spoil it. It's kind of how I do my Twitter. Oh, I can't get a good focus. Oh well, sorry about that. So I think that's gonna be it. Again, these books release November 19th, so it's just around the corner. I'm going to be doing a Twitter flip through for the books anyways, just because I like doing those and people seem to really enjoy them and not everybody can tune in for a stream. So watch for that. I also got the Rick and Morty box. Hold on, let me show you that. Give me a second. So this one is still in the shrink wrap. I'm not going to do a stream for this one. I'm not going to open it right now. But I will do a Twitter flip through of the Rick and Morty box. Here's this focus thing is killing me. Sorry about that. So, and then in the back, and this should be fun. It's time for Rick to roll. Grab your pencils. Kato, if you follow Kato Katonian on Twitter, he did a flip through of the Rick and Morty box, so you may want to go check out his feed. I'll retweet it now when I get back on Twitter, so you guys can check it out. He opened the box and he took a look at it. I won't be doing that in this stream. All right. So with that, I think that's it. I think I'm done. So I'm gonna say goodbye, and I'll post this on YouTube at some point, and I'll link to it on Twitter. And I hope you enjoyed this. You know, sorry for the focus issues. It was really my first attempt at doing one of these book things on Twitch. So I apologize if the experience wasn't as great as it could have been. But I hope you got a good look at the book, and you know, I'll catch you around. Thank you guys for joining me in the chat, John, Catalyst, Jimmy Fett. Thank you for chiming in, and that's gonna do it for this stream. See you guys around.